Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new COVID-19 edition of Mammalian Physiology with your host, Dr. Wiseman. I hope you had a good spring break for what it was worth. It was amazing how the world seemed to melt down in a period of a few days. I have some interesting stories for you that I'll try to share, but for now, I just have a few things I'd like to talk to you about getting ready for the new reality of this semester and the near future, if you will. First of all, and I mentioned this in the first lecture that I was recording, I sort of thought, well, I'm going to keep this super simple. I'm just going to record my lectures and all that. So I started talking, and then I realized I had so much more to say. In any case, I do say this in the first lecture video that this is nothing new, even though it feels very, very jarring, and it's difficult, and it is. This is nothing new. This is something that has happened throughout time, even in periods when we didn't have technology and travel and so forth. We have seen these types of pandemic events. My only hope is that you can keep your hands clean, you can keep your fingers out of your eyes and out of your mouth as much as possible. Certainly practice separation where possible. I don't know if you realize it, but the Victorian and Edwardian eras, where you see people wearing lots and lots of clothes and gloves and hats and those sorts of things, that was all a result of pandemics. That was all a result of the typhus, typhoid, and other types of pulmonary disorders that were going on. And that was one of the reasons why we started pasteurizing milk, by the way, was that because that there were potential pathogens in unpasteurized milk. So our history is full of these types of events, and so we're just a larger part of a continuing history. Doesn't make it any easier. Doesn't make it any less complicated, but it is something that you're going to face in your lifetimes. I think it's just, my grandfather just passed away at 101 just in the last couple of days. And he was a part of the early 20th century influenza pandemic. So it tends to happen about once a lifetime or more. So the key isn't to fear it, the key is to be ready for it and to be able to find good information and respond in an intelligent way. I found this quote earlier today from somebody that we all know, and I'm not going to list that person because I don't want to bring politics into this, but you guys as physiology students are actually part of the health professional infrastructure. You guys are all training to be healthcare providers or scientists or therapists of some kind. So you're already there. You're already in this healthcare profession. So you guys are going to be on the front lines. This is something that's going to happen for a very, very long time. This is a novel virus. That is to say, it's a virus that has not been in the human population until very, very recently. It was a virus that arose from other animals. So we're going to be reaching some kind of an equilibrium with it over the next 5, 10, or more years. So this is very much going to be a part of your life going forward. And so the folks that are already out there, they're giving everything. I want you to read this story down here about this gal whose husband is a physician. It's very, very interesting. And you guys are going to be in these same boats if you're not already. If you have parents who are nurses or doctors or healthcare providers, you're already there. So maybe we all model our own behavior. So I want you to take a moment, think about this, and look in the mirror, because this is our reality going forward. We're never going to be the same after this, just like 9/11 or any of these other major events in our life. We're part of a larger spectrum of human existence, and so dig deep for me. Dig deep for yourselves and for the people you care about. I have any number of people that I care deeply about in my life. I just lost my grandfather, 101 years old. He didn't die of coronavirus. Nevertheless, that, along with the coronavirus stuff, has led me to reach out to a whole bunch of people that are really important to me that I don't talk to on a regular basis, or perhaps hadn't let them know how much they mean to me. And I'm letting them know, and that helps us get through these tough times. So look in the mirror, ask yourself what you can do, and one thing you can really do. I know this feels strange, but one thing you can really do is for the people you care about, be the very best student you can be. Learn as much about this stuff as you can, because that's where the real meaning comes from. It's not about making a lot of money or that sort of a thing. It's about the service to others. So look in that mirror for me. Make it a daily task to do your very, very best, and we're going to get through this together. So let's look at what we're going to be working on over the next few weeks virtually. The first thing that we're going to deal with in Unit 3 is what I call contraction physiology. That is skeletal muscle, how skeletal muscle is initiated to contract, how we control and regulate things like cardiac function. We have a need for contraction to occur in a very regulated and orderly process, and that occurs at multiple levels, not only within the sarcomere itself and within the muscle fiber and the tissue itself, but also at the organ and systemic levels. Certainly going to talk about smooth muscle. That's smooth muscle contraction over here. So these are the things that we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks. The last unit, in Unit 4, is the shortest of the four, and Unit 4 does sort of cycle back onto some things that we talked about in Unit 1 and Unit 2, and in some cases Unit 3. We're going to be talking about transport physiology, so we're going to talk about pulmonary systems and blood, gas exchange, and finally kidney. My goal for the rest of this semester is to keep it as normal as possible. I am eliminating some of the extra topics and some things that I thought were some spaces in the curriculum. I know this is a tough class. I know it stretches you. So I dialed back some of that to just focus on the core material, so that you guys can get as much of this, which is the really important stuff, as possible. So, as I mentioned, we're going to keep class as normal as possible. I'm not going to try to change up stuff too much. I'm going to try to keep a regular schedule. So here are some things that I'm going to do. The online lectures, I'm going to try to limit them to about 30 minutes apiece. Well, that just means I'm going to have more of them. So please try to have a daily routine. Life is about momentum. Right now, I feel like I have absolutely no momentum whatsoever. But what we're going to try to do is establish a routine, and that means I'm going to guess somewhere on the order of one, maybe two 30-minute sessions, and plan for every day. I know that our regular class schedule was 4 days a week. I think you should plan on a 5 or a 6 day schedule. I know that's going to be a pain in the butt, but since hardly any of us are working in our normal routines, you're not working at the restaurants, or your work is severely dialed back, use that as an opportunity to do some things that you normally couldn't do. One of the things that breaks my heart teaching at UIndy is how many students are trying to do too much. They're trying to pay their bills, they're trying to work, they're trying to do all these things, and they're not getting the quality time for studying. Did you know that Sir Isaac Newton actually invented or contributed majorly to calculus during the plague in the 1600s, because he was just locked up. He didn't have anything else to do, so he worked on math and he invented major sections of calculus. So you guys, this can feel like you're in a prison, but it will also give you the opportunity to do things that you normally couldn't do. And I'm going to ask you to try to carve out at least 30 to 60 minutes a day. I don't think that's too much to ask. You got to do the reading. I can't teach you if you're not doing the reading. You've got to watch the lectures. You've got to do the mastering. You've got to complete your assignments. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible, but I think it's going to be a 5 to 6 day a week thing moving forward, hopefully with a little bit less time each day rather than just trying to squash it all in. So you're going to have the regular access to PowerPoint, and I'm going to create the handouts on ACE. I think it's a good idea that you go ahead and print those handouts. Use your active learning. Sitting here watching, and I kind of joke, I say waiting for the pizza to be delivered, the knowledge pizza, is just not going to work. So I'm going to get you those PowerPoints. I'm going to get you those handouts on ACE. You can download them, print them out. If you don't have a printer, now would be an excellent time to go buy a printer. And the people will love you for coming to buy a printer. Just buy a black and white one. They're not very expensive, $100. Labs are a little trickier because labs are by definition interactive. So we're working on that. I'm going to be working on that today and tomorrow and Friday. But I envision one of two scenarios. Either I'm going to use the old labs and I'm just going to give you the data for the labs, and then you go on to ACE and you answer the questions. Just kind of like what we would do if for some reason say you were a student athlete or something like that where you couldn't make lab. That's the easiest thing for me. I'm not sure though we would get as much out of it. There is a resource on Mastering A&P called PhysioX, and I'm looking into adopting some of those PhysioX modules. So I'm going to just get a good hard look at it. One thing I've noticed is that it's a little tougher to get on a Mastering A&P right now because everybody's just going there, going crazy. So I'm a little nervous about trying to do that, but we're just going to soldier through as best we can. So it's going to be probably one of these two different scenarios. Some labs I may just give you the data and have you answer the questions. Other ones I may go ahead and try to get PhysioX going so that you have that option. Mastering A&P are the same as before. I've adjusted the schedule a little bit, but by eliminating some of the discussions and kind of restricting this to lecture and so forth, the mastering pretty much stays the same. So just keep an eye on the calendar. Check in. Get those assignments done. There many are already up, and it's a good idea to go ahead and get started. Journal review article is due the same as before. I may have pushed back the due date a little bit. It's coming up here early next week, so please stay on top of that. Lastly, the interactive review sessions. Now, I'm going to try some new technology with that. I've used Zoom and I've used some of these other things. And the problem is it's going to require more visual, and I just need to figure something out. Either I'm going to have to do some sort of a webcast or something along those lines. I really think it seems to me that my weekly review sessions that we've been having at Lilly Science Hall on Monday nights have been working really, really well. I am really thrilled with the people that are making the commitment to showing up to those meetings, especially on a weekly basis. I really think it makes a difference, and it could make a difference for you too. I'm going to try to set that up. Again, I have to kind of prioritize a little bit. Labs and lectures are top priority. Mastering is pretty much already set. Journal review articles pretty much already set, and then I'm going to, with the time and energy that I have left, I'm going to work on these interactive review sessions for you guys because I do think they work really well, and I'd love to see more of you there. Exams. Exams are also a TBD. I'm working with the other professors who are teaching 330 on some ideas there. Obviously, when you're restricted at home, all exams pretty much become open book, open notes. ACE does have the exam module, and I actually use that for your lab assignments. So I'm thinking my first impression is to go ahead and use ACE for the exams. There are some other possibilities, but again, I just don't have enough time and energy, and I'm worried about having a complete disaster. And then next thing you know, I've got to drop an exam, and it's already enough of a mess. So I think my first instinct is to use ACE for the exams, and we'll just see how it goes. I'll keep you posted as best I can. So here's the calendar, and you have this calendar in ACE. I uploaded it earlier. It says 7 to 9 p.m. I'm going to keep that as possible. I'm going to try to shoot for having a review starting on the 30th. If I can adjust the schedule in some other way, I will. If you have a request for some time where you want some interactive session, by all means let me know, and I will do my best to make myself available. Given that we're not working as much, at least not out and about as much, I think it's a good idea that maybe I can try to create some more interactive possibilities. I know you're going to be busy with other classes as well, so I'll just try to give you the opportunities and let you take advantage of them where possible. Again, this is all tentative. This could change at any moment. I mean, in a span of a day, the world basically melted down. So just make sure that you remember it's tentative. And this is April. April is coming up really fast. It's amazing how quick it's coming. Again, we're going to try to keep the same general schedule. Review sessions, again, I'm going to try to make those interactive where possible. It's just a question of the technology and broadband, the bandwidth and so forth. So please stay on top of your schedule. Check ACE daily, if not regularly, for due dates. I do get a number of people who will just email me for every due date and question and so forth. And it's not that I don't like that, but your first resource is to check ACE. That I'm already getting just crushed with emails. I'm getting crushed with social media stuff. So if at all possible, unless there's clearly some discrepancy of some kind, please just check ACE first, check Mastering A&P first. And again, if that doesn't answer your question, then reach out to me. So Mastering A&P, please, and again, I see this a lot. I see this during normal class, and I want to tamp down on it. Don't rely on your memory. Don't rely on your memory. You guys are way too busy. You guys are way too distracted with things to rely on memory. It's an ongoing issue, and so maybe now's the time we can actually work on that a little. And I'll just leave you with this last little homily, if you will. You have to be patient. You have to be patient for exercise. Life is about momentum. So be patient. Get some good exercise. Don't just sit around in your house waiting for paint to dry. It will affect your brain. So get out, exercise, talk to people, share your concerns, share your fears, let people know you care about them. I'll give you a confession. There are a few people in my life who I consider exceptionally important, shall we say. And even though I have a wife and family and people that I care about, I still care about these people. And so I've made a strong point to reach out to people that I really, really care about and say, hey, I appreciate you. You are doing things, you inspire me. That will help you feel better. It will help you get that momentum back that we need to have. You have to have patience for college, okay? Especially in a time like this. You have to have patience for relationships. But once that momentum gets going, it will take on a life all its own. And I'm already starting to yield a little bit of dividends from the people that I've reached out to and told them how important they are to me. It really does do good things in your life. So hang in there. I feel for all of you, and I will be here for you as best I can. We'll just try to keep it simple. I wish I could make it less boring. Okay, I know sometimes it's going to be boring, But have faith, and we'll get through all of this together. Thanks for your time, and go get those lectures. I'll talk to you later.